Nityananda. Oh, wow. Good to see Cherry. Long time no see. Nityananda, you're back home? Yeah? Awesome. Awesome. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. So, Alagamai is here. So, welcome, Ma. So, let's start first with the Sadguru Vandanam. This topic is very exciting. I'm also very excited. I don't know what is going to come up, but let's see. So let's sit with the back straight. Let's entangle with Swamiji. See Swamiji in the third eye. In remembrance of our Guru, Paramashiva, in the form of Swamiji, let's invoke him through chanting the Sadguru Vandanam. Take a deep breath. Nityanandam Paramasukaram Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganashatrisham Tattvamasya Rilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalam Achalam Savadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarehitam Satguruntam Namami. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham Om Nityananda Paramashivoham Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. A very warm welcome to all the participants of this session, a very unique session. It's been a 6 months hiatus since we had the last enlightened parenting session in the beginning of January, on the 15th of January, the first session, where we learn about how to help your kids, with addiction. So after a 6 month break, now we're back with the second session of enlightened parenting this year, with a very, very, I would say, exciting topic, which was actually reviewed by Parashakti in the Akashic reading last month, okay, on the 26th of July. So I'm going to basically talk about the signs of bringing up kids, okay? See, a lot of us, either we're parents or we're working with kids, as teachers, acharyas. It's really important, how do we create the space, or how do you bring the kids up, not bring them down? Somebody say that if you are not working on a consciousness, be very clear, you bring them down instead of bring them up. So with that context, we're going to understand how we can bring kids, and Parashakti Devi revealed to a devotee how to bring up kids, because even though her message, or I would say the message to the devotee came as a very short paragraph, but we need to understand it's not just for him, it's for the whole world, because the relevance or the importance of the whole entire, truth from the enlightened consciousness, it's absolutely applicable to all of us. In fact, when she reviewed that, I was so pleasantly surprised, because some of the things that I've already been doing it, with my own child. So in this session, I'm going to share a little bit of my personal experience as well, because nothing beats, when you have to work with your own child, okay? Because that is your Sakshi Pramana, how those great spiritual truth becomes part of your, master memory and bio memory, and how you basically enrich the world with, what you experience. So that's what this session is going to be all about. So let me just share the screen once again. Okay, so here's today's session, Enlightened Parenting, second session, dated 7th of August. And my name is Manitya Dugananda. I am from Kailasa, Singapore Adinam. So here, the topic for today's Enlightened Parenting is about signs of bringing up kids, as reviewed by Devi Parashakti in the Akashic reading, dated 26th of July, 2021, just last month. So basically what happened was, a devotee asked Devi about how he can bring up his son, okay? So that was the context of the question asked in the Akashic reading. So here David replied, he said, I'm telling you the signs of bringing up a child. Listen intelligently. Your son is a being who came to this world through you. Be as a way, a guide, and a protection for him to reach his ultimate purpose of enlightenment. The greatness achieved by parents in their heart and being is the virtue, love, benefit, and wealth for the son. Achieve higher state in your life and also be a protection for it to happen in him. Okay, so I'm going to dissect statement by statement and how we can practically make it happen, or live it in the way how she explains it. Okay, so first let's look at the very first statement. It's like it says that your child is a being who came to this world through you, right? We all know that the moment, see, a child is born, the moment the child's umbilical cord is severed, it means disconnected from the mother, that child, whether it's a boy or girl, is an independent intelligence who has come down to raise the human consciousness to the next level of possibility, because every child is a possibility. They have come here, to create a new world. Understand? Each child come here to update and upgrade. Okay. So one of the common mistake that parents make is they try to fulfill their unfulfilled dreams to their kid, or they have certain vested interest. Understand? That means instead of allowing them to flower naturally based on the biomemory or the purpose of birth, they had come down in this body. But the parents try to impose their ideas of success, their idea of what school they should go, what they should study, and how they should live their life. They start dictating instead of allowing or creating the space for the child to flower. That is one of the say common mistake might make by parents. They're not allowing, or they're not cognizing that, hey, a child is a soul, is a consciousness who are here now, assume the body for continuation of their journey. The reason that they have chosen you as the parents, they have they know, see, before a soul land on planet Earth, they will basically decide who are their parents. The soul will decide the parents. Okay, so basically whenever the child has chosen you as their parent, it means what? It means that they believe you can protect them to reach their ultimate purpose of life. That means reach the consciousness. So because they're chosen, they entrusted you as their parents. You receiving that trust, being integrated to their trust and given to you by your child, you should be a guide and a protection for them when they are under your care. As you all know, that every child is a huge possibility. So if you're unconscious, you're arrogant, you're ignorant, you have vested interest, you will just literally destroy their possibility. And that's the worst thing that can happen to a human life when their possibility is destroyed. Okay, that means they wasted this birth. Okay, so one of the main things that parents need to cognize is, do not think that they are your extension. They are independent intelligence, which means you need to understand the child's biomemory, the child's life purpose, why they have landed, why they have come here to manifest. So during the period before they are able to manifest, you care for them. You're like their natural first, the two beings, right? The father and mother are the two beings who they have entrusted their life. And for you to know that, you need to basically shower them with love and care for them, protect them, take care of the body, nurture them till they flower in maturity and wisdom as an independent being, till they are able to be guided by their, guru, when they meet their guru at later age. But before that, you're literally like their guru in the early formative years. Understand? The first 7 years of the age, before they become, very much conditioned by society, they live in the pure space. If you heard my earlier enlightened parenting, Somji also mentioned that in the first 7 years of a child's age, they live in the space of a child where it is a huge possibility because they don't really have a mind yet. They don't have a lot of patterns or incompletion. They don't have. So they are just pure intelligent being and they're constantly in this awareness. And which means they're in direct connection with the source, the cosmos. That's why they're in that pure space continuously. And the way they respond to life, it is out of spontaneity, innocence, and pure love. You observe kids, why? That's why they're so joyful to be around with them. You see them, you're just so happy, joyful when you play with the kids, when they are still in their pure space. Okay, so the first thing parents need to recognize is they came to this world through you as their trusted, custodian. So what do? You need to basically play the role of a protector as well as a nurturer, as well as a guide, and love them for, love them unconditionally for who they are. Okay, so that is the first message, the first line. Devi said, your child is a being who came to this world through you. Okay, so what she meant is you have a deep responsibility, a responsibility because the being have chosen you. Okay, it's not something to be frivolous and not something to be irresponsible about. If you're going to be irresponsible, don't bring the child to this planet Earth and suffer. If you're not willing to take up that responsibility, then don't give birth. That's what Swamiji say. Otherwise, you destroy the being and create more problem on planet Earth. Only bring beings, enlightened beings to planet Earth when you know for a fact that you're going to work on raising their consciousness. Okay, you're going to nurture them to let them flower in their ultimate potentiality. Okay, so that is the first statement that she made. Next, the second line, she said, be a way, a guide, a protection for your child to reach his or her ultimate purpose of life, which is enlightenment. Swamiji said again and again, the purpose of human birth is to reach the ultimate consciousness, which is enlightenment. Anything that we do, it's just for this purpose only. It's just that many people are not aware. This is the reason why we come down to assume the body. And as you know, the enlightenment is only possible in Bhuloka. It means this planet Earth, this plane. Okay, so it says as a way means what? Means live by example. Your body language, as kids watch what parents do, not what they say. They watch your body language, how you respond, not your words, verbalization. You can say 1,001 things, nothing get inside them. Because if what you say and what you do is totally in conflict, let's say you tell them don't smoke, but you yourself secretly smoking them, where's the authenticity, right? So kids are very, very intelligent. They observe your body language. They see how you behave and how your way of life. From that only, they start emulating. They start, copying you. So it also means that you live the spiritual principle of, like integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching, love and non-violence, ahimsa. If you start living this, spiritual principle, then the child will pick up your muscle memory and a bio memory by your way of living. Understand? And how you took responsibility for yourself and everyone else in not only enriching yourself and others. Okay. So that means be aware. You have to show the way. You cannot say, oh, you know, this is nice to have, but don't need to do it because you know I can't do it. You know, no, you have to show the way. Like for instance, living with authenticity means what? Raising yourself to the next capacity, raising yourself to your anyakara, you know, the best image of you. But if you tell, you know, your child, no need, no need, you just come down because of your laziness, because of you succumbing to the society's, you know, unconsciousness, then you become like a hypocrite. You develop cunningness. That means what you think and what you say or what you do are very different. That's what Swamiji talked about. Being cunning means thinking something but doing something or saying something which is not congruent. That is cunningness, the mind's way of being cunning. Okay, so if you do that, the child pick up. The cunningness come from parents not being integrated and authentic. Understand? So your way of life, you become example for the kids. They observe you. And you will, if you half the time go crazy and it's blare out of anger and, you know, like, you know, become like a dynamite all the time, suddenly just explode and become angry, they will pick up from you. They also become like this because they know that, oh, that's the way to get things you want, or that's the way to respond, which is normal. Just become a, you know, just explode in anger. If you're able to handle your emotion and be able to guide the kids to solve the problem, to handle yourself, they will pick that up from you as well. Understand? Instead of copying your your pattern of anger and, you know, becoming, you know, part of their, you know, pattern, which is not so good, right? So being aware. The second thing is be a guide. A guide means what? It means you really need to raise your consciousness such that you can be their guru, leading them to meet their ultimate Sadguru, right? That means before they meet their ultimate guru, you need to make sure that you raise yourself so that you can guide them. You cannot guide someone when you yourself is in a mess. You're unconscious. You have so much problem in your life. So which means the kids, having the kids, you need to raise yourself. That means, you know, Somji always say one sentence, which I remember. It's like, I will teach you through your kids. Oh, now that the kids is already here, you really have to raise yourself. Otherwise, you will have lots of problems, not only with yourself, but with the kids as well, right? It becomes like a vicious cycle. So be a guide. Be a guide is a very heavy responsibility, enormous responsibility, because you can't be a guide if yourself is, if you cannot handle yourself. If you're in such a atrocious mess in the inner world, in the way how you feel about you, how can you guide someone? How can you guide your child? Your child would just be totally, you know, looking at you with just appalled reaction of why my parent is like this. Why is she becoming like, you know, like a monster? I cannot understand her. Do you understand? So being a guide means you need to work on yourself. You need to bring yourself to a lot of completion. You need to raise your consciousness, you know, to the level where you can start having certain mature conversation with your child. You can guide them into the path of spirituality. Okay, so being a guide means you cannot living in unconsciousness. If you live in unconsciousness, you only guide them to the path of darkness only. You bring them to more and more ignorance and more suffering and more depression. Understand? Because you yourself are, you know, experiencing all this unconsciousness. So be a guide means you need to raise yourself. Okay. I remember when I met Swamiji in 2006, Kai, my son was already 3 year old. Okay, he was born in 2003. So at that time, one of the biggest concern at the time, because see, when a woman become a mother, one of the intelligence that get awakened is the maternal instinct, this divine feminine consciousness, like wanting to protect, wanting to give the child the best, gets awakened. And I know for a fact there's so much of negativity, unconsciousness out there in society. I was feeling worried. How can I keep his innocence as long as I can? What can I do as a mother to keep him in the pure space? So that was a real concern I had. You know, by the time Kai was already 3 years old, and that was my first question to Swamiji when I met him personally in Singapore. We had a small group gathering at Breakfast Hotel, I remember. And he basically have a small gathering with some devotees. So I was there and I asked this question because at that point in time, one of the burning worry that I had at the time was how to nurture my kid. Because as a mother, I have so much of fear and worry. I do not know how to bring up the kids, you know. So that was one of the thing that triggered this whole awareness that I need to work on myself. I need to raise my consciousness so that I can guide my child, so that I can provide and protect for my child, you know. So that was how that intelligence got awakened. Okay. Then the next thing, as a protection, right? The third role that Davy said, not just a way, not just a guide, also as a protection. So see, do not allow anything to destroy your child's body, mind, and space by the unconscious, you know, society, whether it's conditioning from the ancestral, you know, conditioning or the societal conditioning. Because see, in certain culture, let's say Chinese, Indian, or Western culture, you come with certain heritage, certain karma, if I want to say that also, like certain thought current where you think how life should be. And it's passed down from generation to generation. Okay. So make sure that as a parent, you are aware of the legacy being passed down from you know, your own clan, and make sure that if they are not serving in this whole, not just protection of the life purpose, you know, not serving in helping the child expand to the ultimate consciousness, you should take the decision, a conscious decision, to break it at your level. It means, if let's say your parents say, your mother have this idea that, oh, all kids must eat meat, for instance, because in the Chinese culture, meat means, you know, not just nourishing the body. They think that by eating meat is also a sign of prosperity, you know, luxury. It means you can only afford meat in those days when you are, you know, you live pretty well off. Okay. So we have this kind of idea that say, oh, you need to eat meat in order to see that the child body is properly nourished and, you know, giving the right nutrients. But you know for a fact, from the enlightened consciousness, from the yogic text, from all the Shastra Pramana, all the scriptures, it says by eating meat, by creating a, you know, violence, himsa, basically, and also it just destroy your consciousness. That means the possibility for outer flowering of consciousness is stopped. So if you know that, for me, I'm saying for my example, because I know that if the child remains non-veg, it's very hard for them to reach the ultimate. So then for my level, I take a decision that I will become vegetarian and inspire my child to become vegetarian as well. Understand? So all this, you know, as a parent, you need to protect their body and their mind. See, a lot of unwanted, unconscious way of living are imposed by media. They are constantly trying to entertain the child and making their mind dull. Especially like playing these violent games, watching all this Netflix, you know, all these movies that create all this make them like a couch potato and just watch only in front of their computer. So all these kind of unconscious thing, you know that it only make them weak, make them fall into this certain unconscious, thought current molded by the society. If you know that, then you need to interfere. You need to make sure that you protect that mind without allowing all the wrong cognition to enter into their mind. Understand? So you have to take up the responsibility by working with their own mind, as well as, imparting that truth or knowledge to them. Okay? If you destroy their mind, they become bored, they become tired easily, they become violent, all the time, just wanting to kill someone or just inflict pain to someone, then that kind of attitude or the kind of inner space is very dangerous for the child, isn't it? See, just last couple of weeks ago in Singapore, there was a child, a 16-year-old boy, took an axe to the school and chopped the 13-year-old schoolboy in the toilet, kill him basically. It's unheard of in my time, in those days. But in this time, see how the child has become so violent. They can even do the crime in the school toilet. It means public, bright daylight at 11 plus in the morning, they're doing this act of killing, okay? Which means what? That you can imagine the mind of that 16-year-old boy is, very disturbing. Understand? How that mind, only 16 years old, has become so violent. It's something for the parents to really, really think about, and also for the education system to think about. It means what? Whatever education system is fundamentally flawed. You are not teaching the kids to raise them. You are bringing them down to the unconscious. Something is fundamentally wrong in the system now. So as a parent, you should know, you should be aware of all this happening in the society, even in the education system. How to protect them. See, when my son, he was badly bullied in his school. From primary school to secondary school, he was bullied all the time because he's constantly in that joyful, space, laughing all the time, because, he got initiation by Swamiji at a very early age. Okay, by 6, he got initiated. So he's constantly living that joyous, happy, blissful state. And other people cannot tolerate him, okay, of the joy he's radiating. So they start bullying him. Understand? It's not that he is creating problem. Other people are creating problem because they don't like him because of the joy that he's radiating. So that is that is the nature. And so much so that he has to learn how to protect himself. Understand? So much completion I had to do with him because of he needs to protect himself. So that kind of thing, and how to bring him back again and again to the pure space. It's like you're going against the tide of the unconscious from society. The avalanche of unconsciousness is coming to bury you and your child, and you as a mother, as a protector, you're trying to fend this off so that they are all protected. Your child is protected. That is the kind of like the most uphill task for me as a mother, I tell you honestly. And then their space, that they are, when they're born, I saw the pure space he was radiating. He was absolutely brilliant. Such intelligence in motor skill. He can climb up and down without falling and no fear at all. And in fact, I'm the one having fear. If I see him climbing up without any fear, I'm the first one running there, to stop him, to scare that he will fall down and hurt himself. But I have to step back and allow him to explore, at the same time protect him in case he, catch him in case he fall. So it's that kind of role you have to play as a protector, at the same time, also know when to let go for him to explore. Don't be a rigid protector such that he becomes stifled. He's not able to even go out and play in the playground because you think that too many bad things will happen there. So, you not being extreme also as a protector, but you need to play the role, protect him from being hurt, anything that's dangerous, but allow him that space to explore such that he becomes adventurous. He learned about life through exploration, through adventure. Understand? So that is very important as a protector. So from a way of life, be a guide, and as a protector. Okay. So the next thing I want to talk about is when you're fulfilling these roles, the first thing that you need to teach the child is how to protect the body, how to take responsibility for their body. See, when they're born, they're naturally healthy, right? But if you are feeding them with all the wrong food, you will destroy the body in no time. Okay, they become asthmatic, they become, diabetic, they become too fat, obese, all kind of things will happen. So teach them how to take responsibility for their body, because without the body, nothing is possible. Consciousness can only manifest if you have a yogic body. So teach them how to create a yogic body to realize a higher possibility. So creation of a yogic body is the first thing you should impart to your kids. Let's see, for me, I'm a yoga teacher, right? So, I teach Kai yoga by the time he was 3 years old, even before meeting Swamiji. I used to teach him how to play with some asanas and meditate and all that. So he started playing with that. It was just more like a play thing, not really like a serious class. But he started seeing what I'm doing and he started emulating, okay? Because of the fact that it is part of my lifestyle, and I make sure that he also picked it up. So that's first thing, teaching the kids how to take responsibility for their body. Second, their mind. How to give them the right powerful cognitions centered on completion and powerfulness, not giving them fear or your greed from society, giving them the truth so that they can decide for themselves what is, the best for their life. Because once you start to make them an independent thinker, they will start to be able to have that discernment, have that wisdom, intelligence to decide what is best for them. You don't try to decide everything for them. You share with them the facts and share with them your experience and let them make the choice or decision for themselves. Because of that, they seeing you, becoming better in some way through certain knowledge, they will also want that. I give you an example. You know how Swamiji has been sharing all this these herbs, right? The Ayurvedic herbs, like, the herbs that he talked about, Krishna Lanka. I think that the herbs that he rubbed on top the palate, the top palate of the mouth, the roof of the mouth, okay? Where he learned it from his guru, his yoga guru, right? In the satsang you heard. So I started doing that with my son, Kai, just a few weeks ago. We don't get the fresh leaves, we get powdered form. So I started applying that through his roof of the mouth. And now he will ask for it, and he will ask for it without me having to tell him. He said that he can feel the difference when he applied that. He has more clarity. He feels clearer in his way of, like, his pitta and kapha dosha is balanced. So because of his body is very sensitive, he's able to distinctively tell the difference when he apply and without. So, and because of the impact, he asked for it. Like today, before he went for a run, I helped him to apply, and he applied and then he went for a run. So it's like something that I introduced, and he learned from it, and then he used it on his own body, and he feel that, yes, it helped me, and I'm going to do that, live it as part of my lifestyle. That way only you can inspire them. Inspire them through your, knowledge. Yeah, like I might say, Karisalangani. Yes, that's the name of the herbs. Yes. All this, I think there are more words or whatever, and something that we don't really, pronounce that on a daily basis. But it's very powerful herbs that you can use to balance your Pitta and Kapha dosha. From Ayurveda standpoint, it's very powerful. So that's what I'm saying. Constantly, how to give them the powerful cognition, given by the Guru, Swamiji, and how to elevate them, whether it's from their patterns, get out of the patterns, or help them to see things from the context of consciousness and, from the space of completion, going back to the pure space of completion. So that way, so that the mind become, a powerful vehicle for enlightenment, not a disturbance, not a burden to the enlightenment. Okay. Then space, of course, your consciousness, right? How to keep them in their pure space, the innocent space, where they radiate, possibility. It means they're able to download, they're able to connect with this Guru, we're able to connect with all the divine beings at a higher dimension. The space is only possible if you keep them in the innocent, pure space. Understand? If you dump them with all kind of crap, when I call crap means whether it's impact, completion, or fear and greed and all kind of things that are related to the society, which bring them down to the human level instead of divine level, instead of divine as a divine being. They will only radiate, they only manifest, the life of normal human being. Okay. But if you don't destroy the space, they keep them in the pure higher space of innocence, spontaneity, and intelligence. You see, they simply flower into absolutely creative, intelligent being. That's my experience. Okay. So that is what Devi said, be a way, a guide, and protection for your child to reach his or her ultimate purpose of life, which is enlightenment. Okay. Now, the next thing, she also said the greatness achieved by the parents in their heart and being is the virtue, love, benefit, and wealth for the child. See, whatever you accumulate by living your life, consciously living an authentic life, understand? That become the, kind of living example to give the child courage and clarity to tread the same path. If you don't do that, they will just see, hey, you're such a failure, you're not doing anything, look at you, even after meeting Swamiji, you're still all this pattern and you're still not able to handle yourself, you're still like a, crazy as ever. So how they are not able to be inspired and encouraged by you not living their authentic life, right? So your success is going to be their inspiration. Your success is going to, make them believe that this truth, the science of living enlightenment works, and how your greatness is like the way how you contribute to the society, to the humanity. Your greatness in contributing is going to be perceived as a, has going to have a place in their heart. They're going to feel, proud of their parents for having, done something in their, in the humanity, and feel that they also want to do the same for themselves when they grow up. So your success, your greatness, what you achieve, how you contribute to people around you, as well as society at large, it's going to be, the wisdom, the wealth for them to live their life. Understand? Because they are going to be inspired by you living the example. So see, like many of us, either we get inspired our parents, or the other extreme is we just say, I will never be like that because my parents are just, like this. I consciously decided I will not be like them. So it's these two extremes. Which extreme you want to choose? For me, I choose to be an inspiration for my child, because I chose not to live the life where my parents live, because their life is just what I'm saying is that because at the time they didn't have the fortune of having an enlightened guru as guidance, so they live the way based on their best intelligence. But of course, in a way, they also created a lot of incompletions, a lot of traumas, and in their life, and of course creating a lot of suffering around them, amongst the kids as well. And as you know now, after having learned from Swamiji and all that, that you will not want to live this way, right? Consciously, you choose another way of existing in an extraordinary way, centered on Dharma, centered on wisdom of enlightenment. So that in itself is a choice for parents to decide which way you want to choose. You can continue to live the way how your parents, pass you down all this stuff. You can copy them and do the same to your next generation, or you decide to break it and just say, no, this is not what I want for my child. I'm going to choose something different. So that decision a parent has to make. So that gives you the greatness if you are able to show them the way. So that is the third thing, the third sentence. The fourth sentence is, so Devi said, achieve higher state in your life. You have to do it. You have to achieve the highest state in your life. Otherwise, you can't guide them. Also be a protection for it to happen in your child. That means when you achieve the higher state, you also do it the same for your child. So see, from my life, when I start working on raising my consciousness, doing all the, completing with all the incompletion I had, all the unconscious thing, keep evolving myself, I saw my child flower in his consciousness as well. When I raised myself to the next level, he also raised himself. When I stopped manifesting powers, he manifests more powers than me. That's what I saw. It's amazing. It's like how your space will lead into their expansion. That's what I discovered. When I became authentic, my child started to become more and more authentic as well. When I was living with inauthenticity, he got very fed up with me. It's like, you want me to do this, but in front of, like say in front of that, you become, different. You're not authentic in the way you want. So he caught that. Okay, that was one of the biggest lessons I learned. It's like, oh God, which caused me to be in such, like literally slapped me, when he told me that. I was like, okay, that's real inauthenticity on my part. That was many years ago. Okay, so and I realized that at that point in time, I was not authentic, and he picked it up and he showed me the way how to be authentic. My child taught me to be authentic. Understand? So you will see, because kids, when they're in their pure space, they are very authentic. They're naturally living the four tattvas without you having to teach them, because that's their natural state. That's the common spiritual principle. So another thing is, one of the common mistake or biggest mistake parents make is that they don't raise themselves by themselves, right? Because they have to overcome. See, when you raise yourself, you have to overcome many unconscious patterns and the dogma imposed by society. It means society have certain way of thinking and way of expecting you as a parent, as a, as a woman. And if you live by their rules, you will be totally not able to have a breakthrough. You will feel very suffocated. So the first thing is, I've seen many parents, while they want inside their heart, they want, but they're not able to break free from all this bondage from the society. The first layer is the family. The family, the in-laws, the siblings, the relatives, all that had certain expectation, and they are not able to break free because they want to feel that, you know, they are still part of the community. They cannot, you know, ruffle the feathers. So it's like they rather succumb and suppress their true purpose above, you know, than really facing this, you know, inauthenticity of society. When I say society, I include parental and you know, relatives, the parental conditioning. Okay. So in my journey, I feel that one of the first thing that for parents who consciously want to give, you know, the child in terms of achieving great state, you yourself have to lead the example of breaking that. Okay. Because of, I saw that there are many things that is not going to help the breakthrough for me and my child. I make certain very strong decision, you know, to the extent of giving up, you know, the marriage, because I feel that if I keep myself living in the marriage, I feel that we are not able to flower into the higher consciousness. It cannot happen because I tried many years, but it did not happen. So I decided that the best thing that can happen is to go separate way. So this is my personal exam, you know, experience. Okay. So that's something that as a parent, you have to make certain strong decision when time comes to test your authenticity to your life purpose. Okay. So when you become a seeker, naturally you will know the pitfalls of delusion, right? You realize how, you know, as you realize your consciousness beyond this body and mind, whatever you do for others will be a service. That means you're doing seva, you're just enriching people. So become a ferocious protector for the same breakthrough to happen in your child. When you know, become a protector of your consciousness, you will do the same for your child so that the child also flower in the higher state of consciousness, just like you do. So that's the reason why the child has chosen you to be his or her parent. So don't let them down due to your inauthenticity. Understand? You have a heavy responsibility to not only just raise yourself, but also raise the family. Okay. So these are the 4 statements that she made, and I basically shared, you know, the understanding. And now I would like to kind of pause for this moment for Q&A. Okay. So I encourage all of you, if you want to ask question, you can basically raise it in the chat, and then we will see how questions are being asked. Let me just see if there's a question from the Facebook Live. So I'll give you a few minutes to pen down your questions. Then we can. Okay, so not just parents only, of course, teachers, you can also ask. So